Hello. Have you ever had this issue to where you're trying to use your cheap microscope, your Amazon microscope, and you're trying to get to look in those very fine details? Let's say you got, some dirt inside your iPod, your old vintage iPod, and you're trying to sit it inside of here, and you're trying to hold it and get that image, and you want to take a picture or something, but it's just not working, right? So you can't just hold it right there. It's not it's not ideal. If you set it down on your desk, you don't have enough space. I came up with a solution to fix this, and my solution is, so I made an adjustable microscope stand. So took this idea, I found someone else had an idea, and I've seen what Dynolite has. They are a little high-end microscope, and what I did is I took a design I found on the internet and thought about how the Dynolite works. It has an adjustment screw on it. So what I want to do is go from this silly stand here to my new stand. So let me do that right now. So this stand is a modular stand and adjustable. So I can snap this into position. Now I can twist this up and down, and it will adjust it. All right. So now, if I want to see within that iPod, I set it right there on like that. And I can always use my solder helper to help out hold this iPod. So let's configure this guy. So there it is, holding the iPod. Okay. And then I can set it right underneath my microscope. All right, so I'm going to adjust my microscope to get a better view. I'm turning the dial clockwise on it. So now if I adjust my microscope, I can now see inside of there and see all the contacts just fine. And you can see there's very, very little movement now, which is exactly what we want. We want little movement. So if you need to take your little solder gun inside of there and, resolder something, or if you just want to inspect, you want to take a Q-tip or something and clean out the port of there. So now we can see exactly what's happening inside of this charging port of this iPod. So we went from this generic stand that would totally interfere with anything unless the PCB was about 10 millimeters square. This doesn't work. You can't put the microscope here because it would hit. So came up with this modular design so we can adjust this. I can use it with my my solder helper. So this is my solder helper here, and that can hold the iPod, and I can now sit it inside of here, and I can adjust it, fine tune it. This modular design, let me show you how it works. So what you do is you take your camera here, and you can snap in your camera inside of this ring right here. So it kind of borrowed the similar concept as this guy right here. And I have an adjustment screw right here, so we can adjust clockwise, brings it up, and counterclockwise takes it down. And this is modular, like I said. So modular means that it can be totally assembled or disassembled and made smaller. So let's take off my microscope here, and I want to disassemble this. So I have a hole on the very bottom here, so I can simply push this down, and he slides down now, and this one here comes out. So that is slides out. Then we have these, it's kind of like it's keyed into there, so it prevents it from going forward, and it locks it into position. So I can take this off, and then now we have it smaller, the smaller version. So now if you want, you can take off the bottom screw, and I have this is 3D printed like a hex Allen key. All right, so, and then same thing with the very top of this. This here is 3D printed with the hex style Allen key. And I found the best solution for this is to print this laying down exactly like this on the table, and print this way so that it will create a much better strength in it. When I decided to print this as one piece in this orientation, there is no strength in the very top of this, and as soon as I put this in here and twisted it, it then pretty much broke right away. So as I 3D printed it in on the side laying down, I saw that it was much stronger. Okay, so, and this here is plenty sufficient to turn and twist this thing and work as a knob. All right, so here is the first modular piece, and if you want to change this over, you can put in this guy right here, and this guy right here has the top portion of it, and then has the locking mechanism here. So we can take that and we can slide this into each other. And then if we want to add the other modular screw, I have marked these, put a paint mark on the screw itself. There we are. And as I put this in, I just match up the two paint marks. So let me see. I see this paint mark here, I matched the paint mark there, and the hex has 6 sides, so that matches up the screwing mechanism there. Okay. So the screw itself is now matched. So now I can push this up forward. There we are. And now I can push it all the way. Pull the stand down. The stand is allowed, has a big hole in it, is allowed to move back and forth. So let me put in the top notch. Here we go. So now we can twist it and it goes up and down. And you don't have to purchase anything for this except for the actual camera. So I think that's pretty good. And like I said, you can use a solder helper to hold your items for you, or you can just build this to whatever size you want. So that's what we're going to build today. So let's get started. All right, to create this microscope holder, we're going to go into Onshape here. Onshape is a free subscription. So this allows public data. So if you want to borrow my file, and you can make your own file from my file if you want. Go to create, new document. We're going to call Microscope. We're going to call this version 2. All right, so now we're going to get started. We're going to work on the top view right here. So let's click on that. Let's left click and right click, and we can hide the front plane. Left, right, hide. And then we're going to work on that top view right here. I have a space mouse, so I can spin mine around rather freely. But if you want, you can use your middle, hold down the middle mouse button to pan, right mouse button to do rotation. And if you want to zoom, you use your scrolly, your wheel on your mouse. Okay. So let's build a circle. We're going to go with a 10mm circle. So first we're going to start sketch. We're going to click on this top view right here to put the sketch in that view. And now we're going to choose right here, center point dot right there. We're going to click on that dot right there. And we're going to just grab this and throw it. We're going to hit our dimension right here. We're going to click on this and go with a size of 10mm. Okay. It is fully constrained. It's black. So that's exactly what we want to see. And we can finish that sketch for now. Click OK. And now we want to extrude this. All right. We want to extrude it. I want to go about 120mm. Okay. And I will flip it the opposite way. Okay. So I just hit that little button right there, flipped it. Okay. And it's new. All right. So let's say OK. So now let's create a helix on this so that we can put our shape of our screw. So here's helix right here. We'll click on that guy. We're going to go on this surface right here. And we're going to change this to about like 20 revolutions. All right. So it automatically places the helix. And now I want to create a plane on this area right here where the helix stops. Okay. So let's go to plane. Let's choose a point plane. Okay. Now we want to choose the point at which we want our plane. And then we need to choose an entity to kind of reference it to. So we're going to click, scroll, grab and hold, then drag that over front view. We're going to click on this front view right here. So that is our entity, and our point plane is on that point right there where we chose, and say OK now. So now we have just created a plane on that surface right there. But let's double check that. Front plane, plane point. Let's click on the point again. Did it lose it? There's right there. Okay. There we go. Now we have two planes, but one is the plane we want. So we can hide the front plane now. Now we're working on plane 1 only. So now we can start doing we can draft that. So let's click on our front view right here. want to grab this and bring it closer into here. So click, hold, drag, and get that over there. So I want to create a triangle in this area right here. So I will create a sketch, and the sketch will be on plane 1. Okay, just clicked on plane 1. Now I want to create a line here. We're going to go right there. We're going to go straight up. We're going to go about 4 millimeters. So let's just throw it into here, roughly 4 millimeters, and we can fine tune it here. So let's click escape and dimension this guy. So we're going to go from here to here is 4. Okay, it automatically popped. And then here to here, we're going to do half of 4, so 2. And then here to here, we're going to do another 2. Okay, pull it to the side, 2. There we go. All right, so that is fully constrained. So now what we can do is we can do a sweep of this guy, or yeah, sweep right here. So let's create new faces and sketch regions to sweep. So we want to sweep this guy right here, and we want to sweep the path with this guy right here. So we can see that just created the shape of the screw that we want. Now we click OK. Now what we want to do is kind of just trim this off of here. So let's create a plane on the very top surface here, and click that right there. So it should have created a plane. It didn't. Let me double click on that guy. Let me change offset, and then I will choose 0 as my offset. So it just puts a plane right on that surface right there. And same thing with the bottom. Let's take this guy. We want to get a measurement from this side to that point right there. So let's click here. We're going to click on this top guy and this guy right here. We can see this is 2 millimeters in the Z. So that's exactly what we want. We want a 2 millimeter plane off of this. So X out of those guys. This entity, we want it to be offset, and we want 2 millimeters. So 2, and let's hit enter, but we want to flip it. We want it the opposite way. So let's flip that, say okay. So now we want to do our actual splits. So here's our split. Split this guy, entity split with plane right here. Okay, so okay. And now we click on the other guy. So let's click on split this entity, or that part entity is split with plane 2. Now if you see it difficult to find plane 2, you can always hit your tilde key, and plane 2 pops up there. So okay, so we're going to split there. Now we're going to go delete that guy. So go over here to delete part, click on this guy, click on this guy. Let's get down here, and then hit delete part, and then both of those parts disappear. Okay. All right, so now let's put the hex inside of there. So we're going to go with a sketch on plane 2. Okay, and then now we want a polygon, inscribed polygon. From that point, just kind of drag it out, and we can adjust this right here. So 6-sided, and then I will go over here to D for dimension, click on that circle right there, and I'm going to go with 6 millimeters. All right, and if you want, we can put this to where it's horizontal. So if I click on that bottom line right there and click, escape out of that, I can go click on this line right here, and then I can hit this horizontal, and it fully constrains that for me. Okay, so let's click OK. Now we will extrude that through. So go on extrude, click on this guy right here, and we can flip that around. So now we want to do a remove. So we want to pull this down through, or we could actually say blind or through all. So through all, that way if it ever changes, it should automatically update. So we go in solid, remove all, there we go. And there we are, that's our piece right there. Let's do a top view. Let's look at this, make sure everything looks right. Yep, so it's centered on with this circle right here. Looks a little strange, but that's because we added 4 millimeters material on the left and right. So this total width is 10 plus 4 plus 4. So, all right. So now let's start building what's going to go around this. So we got the screw created already. We can make a second screw in a little bit, but let's build this guy right here. Okay. So this version is going to be a little bit smaller than what I did originally. I made mine a little too big and bulky, but this should work just fine, and it can be fine-tuned and fixed. So let's go create another sketch. I'm going to create a sketch on plane 2. And we are going to hit top here. Let's build a box around this guy. And we want to build a center point rectangle. So click on that guy right there, pull him out, and just kind of drag him around. So let's get the overall size here. And I want it to be, I'm going to take a dimension here to here. Let's say I want that 12. So everything adjusted to 12 millimeters now. So now I want an offset of that, and that would be the outside. So let's click on offset here. We're going to click on this. We can click on that one time. Click on this. So hovering over it. Yep. There we go. And we'll change this number to a 2 millimeter thickness. I think would be good. Choose OK. And now we have our, actually we jumped out of the sketch. We can jump back in. Now we can fix up a couple. We can create an opening in the very front here. So let's create that opening and that. Click here. Actually, we're going to click on corner rectangle. And we're just going to build a rectangle there. Now we can go over here to trim. Let's trim this guy out. Yeah. So it's building the outside there. All right, now we got that. Let's go with D for dimension. Let's click on center point here. We're going to go over here and we're going to create a dimension from this side to that side, and 6 millimeters. I think it'd be okay. Same thing here, 6 millimeters. All right. And then, yep, thickness should be 2 millimeters. Everything looks good. I'm going to put a radius here. So let me choose center point diameter, this guy right here. And we're going to go with a little slightly bigger, but I want it to be somewhat close. So originally it was 10. So now I'm going to make this, actually no, it's 18. So let's make this 20 millimeters. That way it will be very close, and the back side of it will ride on, you know, the screw will actually hit the back side, which is good, I think. So now let me choose a line from here. I'm gonna go from here to here, and then I'm gonna extend that guy right there. So let's click on this right here, extend. We're gonna click this guy, and we're gonna go all the way over to here. Okay, and just hit escape. So now we want to get out of there. We want to do some trims. So let's go over here to trim. Now we're going to trim that guy. We're going to trim this guy, and trim that, and what else do we want to trim? This guy. This guy. Yep, you can see it's starting to form it now. Trim that guy, and yeah, that, I think that's it. Notice we got quite a bit of material on the back side here. We can actually fix that in a second. So let's, I'm going to go to my fillet. So fillet from here, here. Yeah, I should be seeing a pop-up. Why I'm not seeing a pop-up, not sure. All right. Let me do a refresh. I'm going to get out of the sketch. I'm going to hit refresh up here. Sometimes you got to do that. Scroll down, sketch 4. And let's see if I can put that fillet now. There we go. Something was happening. Not sure exactly what it was. All right, I'm going to go with like a 12 here. Let me double click on that guy, go 12. All right, and now we go over here and here. Let me get out of that. Let me try it again. Fillet. This here to here. Come on. Choose, okay, there we go. Left click. All right, 12 is good. Enter, and looks pretty good. Could bring it a little bit closer if I wanted to, but I think that's probably okay. So now we got to build our inner piece right here. We may actually want to extend, make this a little bit bigger. Let's do a dimension from this guy. Let's see if I can do it from here to here. Yeah, 3.8 millimeters. All right. Let's see if I can change that to 5. So, yeah, it did it. Okay. I think it just moved the back side too, though. Let me double check. Let me put a dimension from here to here. Dimension here to here. And we're going to change that to 12. All right. Yeah, I brought it in pretty good. I like that. I think that's good. All right. So now what we can do is we can do a extrusion of this. So let's go over here to extrude. Let's grab our sketch. We're going to extrude it opposite way, 120 millimeters. And you can make this longer if your 3D printer will let you. My 3D printer only lets me go and print 180 millimeters tall. So, all right, let's build this front piece here. And then we will subtract out this front piece from our screw. So let's create another sketch on plane 2. All right, and then grab that. We're going to pull it in. All right, so now we want to create the shape on the very front here, corner rectangle. We just want to build something here like that. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Escape. I'm going to pull this guy in a little bit. I want it to be have a lot of the thread inside of there, and I want to at least have like 1 millimeter clearance around this side right here. So here to here, 1, and then here I gotta escape out of that. Click, dragging that guy in. I want these both inboard. And now I can put my dimension. So click here, and then let's click 1 millimeter here and here, 1 millimeter. All right, and then we'll say okay. Actually, let's go back in the sketch. I want to constrain this size right here. Here to here is going to be, let's say, 9 millimeters. Might be a little much. What I suggest is 3D print this and see how well, just print out a very small little section. All right, so let's build this guy right here. We're going to extrude this right here. All right, and we're going to take it down. We're going to make this like about 20 millimeters. Okay, it should carry 1, 2, 3 threads, 3-ish threads, and we want to create new. Okay, we don't want it to unite or anything, union to anything. So let's say okay. And actually I want to push this down a little bit, so I'm going to do a transform, and I want to transform it right here, and I'm going to just move it down. So I'm going to translate by X, Y, Z, and I'm just going to pull it down -Z. So I'm going to go -5 millimeters. There we go. Okay. So now we can find the intersection and interference between these two. So what I'm going to do is create a copy of this guy right here. So let's do a transform. Here we go, transform. We're going to click on this guy right here. We're going to transform it by XYZ, copy part, and we're in 0 translation, just going to recreate it. So part 4 is the one we want to subtract from. So now we're going to go to Boolean, subtract, and let's click on that guy. The target is this guy, and then tool is number 4. Let's say okay, and now we should have, let's hide this guy. So we're going to left click on that and hit Y for hide, and we can see our shape is created. Okay. What I'm going to suggest is let's Control Z, go back. Let's offset the surface on this blue number 4 before we do that. So we're going to left click, we're going to right click, we're going to suppress that one. All right, and we are going to hide this guy. So Y. Now we're going to hide part 1, hit the little eyeball. Now we're seeing part 4 and part 2. Okay, so we can hide part 2 if we want. Only seeing part 4. Let's hit spacebar to get back out of that. And let's thicken this guy up. So let's create a thicken command right over here. And we want to we're going to click on this face and that face and this face. So 3 faces to thicken. And we want to thicken them not terribly thick, maybe 0.3, I'm thinking. Okay, and then we're down here thinking. So let's let the, yep, okay. Did it, didn't work. Let's double click on it. What is wrong? Face to transform. Yep, there we are. All right, so we're going to do those 2. And it thickened it up. Now let's thicken this guy individually. So let's click on thicken again. Click on that guy. We're going to go with 0.3. All right, we got 0.3 in there. All right, so we did 2 thickens to thicken that guy up. So now we're going to grab this Boolean right here, click on it, and drag it down, right? And the reason I want that is I want the thickens before the actual subtraction. So now we can click on left click, right click, unsuppress. This number 4 should disappear now. And our part should, we should have 1, 2, and 3 only. Let's give it some time to think. whenever you're dealing with threads, sometimes it is a little strenuous on the machines. This is all cloud-based, so that's why it might be, might be a little bit slow and laggy. But overall, it's a very good experience with this software. So, all right, so we got that. Let's take a section look at this. Let's click over here, this little guy right here. Let's do a section view. Actually, I'm going to pull this guy up. Okay, click here, section view, and let's click on this view. I'm sorry, let's click on this right here. And let's do a section view through it. All right, now we can see we have nice sharp corners. We can actually go in here and we can radius these on the screw itself. So let's click OK. Let's click on fillet. We're going to click on this guy right here, and let's create 0.5. Let's see what that looks like. It's OK. Let it update. All right, there's our 0.5. Now let's add a 0.5 to that edge right there. Let's hit another fillet. Click on this face right here. And let's say OK. 0.5, it kept that. That's good. It didn't like that. Let's go back, undo that section view, turn off. We're going to turn off. Okay, so there it is. All right, so now we want to, no, we'll keep that the same. We want that edge because that edge will match up with the one on top of it. Okay, so now we got that tower done. We got this done. Let's extrude something from the very front so that we can have, the arm that holds our microscope. All right, if these lines are getting in your view, you can just left click, right click, and hide those. Okay, there we are. So now let's create a sketch on this front surface right here, right? We will create a box on there. Okay, and I'm just going to create a line, another line, and I'm gonna start creating some distances from this face to this face. Let's say it's 1 millimeter. This one here to here, 1 millimeter. Okay, it's okay. All right, so now we can extrude this out, pull it out like this, and we can actually do a merge with the blue guy. I think it's already doing that, solid add, and then we can pull it out. So this depends on how much you want. So I'm going to do this, let's say 50 millimeters. Okay, and we don't have to have it this thick. We can definitely make this smaller. So let me go back in. First I'm going to delete that fillet because that was the failed fillet. No problem. So now we're going to go back to this sketch right here, and we're going to change this from 1 to, let's say, 3, and this one to 3. Double click 3. All right, so we just thinned that out. We don't need all that material. And now we will build the front face of it. Okay, so to do that, let's check our microscope. I will measure the outside, and we got 33.08. So we're going to do 33 millimeters diameter. Let's click on our top. Let's get over here. Okay, let's create a sketch on the surface right here, and we will create a circle. And the circle here, we want to create that circle. We want to kind of hover over this guy, pull him down, see that dotted line. That's what we want to see. And I just want to create a circle. So we're going to go right there, and I'm going to click on my D right here, and I can make this 33. So that's the size of my circle. Now I want to create a distance from here to here, and I want to have it, we just want a little bit of it hanging over, okay, like that. So now we want to do an offset. Go over here, offset this guy, and we're going to do 2 millimeters. Double click on that guy, 2, say, don't say okay, just left click. That confirms it. Now let's create a line, and that will be the line that we chop the front from. So hit here, just throw a line down. It's going to be horizontal. We want that horizontal. If you don't get it horizontal, then you can click here, and you can click horizontal right there. Okay, so escape to space bar to get out of that. Now we can do a dimension from here to here, and then we'll put that at 11. All right, so now let's go do our trims. So go over here, trim. So I'm going to trim this stuff out. Trim that. Trim that. All right, and then let's put a little radii on here. Get out of that trim. We're going to go to fillet. Click on this guy and this guy. And we got a huge radius on there, so let's just that in there, just kind of pulling it. All right, we got, let's click on that guy. Let's change to 0.5 and do the same here. Click on that guy right there. For some reason, it jumps. It didn't select what I wanted right away, so left click to confirm that, and left enter to get out of that. All right, so now we got that shape going. So now, let's see. I want to actually push this out a little bit more. I want this line right here in between here. Okay, so let's change this 78 to 80. Yeah, 80 is great. Perfect. All right, and now I want to say, okay, finish the sketch. So now I want to extrude this down, and we're going to use the previous size here. So we're going to go with that. So it's 20 millimeters. Okay, so extrude that 20 millimeters down. We are going to click on the surface here, and we're going to go opposite way. Flip this guy. 20. Change that to 20. Enter. And we want it to add. Yes. Okay. Green check. All right, there we are. So that is that. And now we will add the rib. So we're going to add the rib inside of here. So let's click on the top view again. We're going to go and click on this edge right here. Sketch this surface. We're going to do an offset. But first, before we do the offset, we're going to do a projection. So we're going to click right here for use. And we're going to click on that edge right there. Now we have a black line sitting there. Now we're going to go with offset. So we're going to click on this one. We're going to click on this guy. We're going to click that number right there. So 1.5, I think. Let me measure what we got here. So I have that. I'm going to use the bottom of my calipers to measure that and just go push that down. And it's 1 millimeter. So that's what we'll do. 1 millimeter. Change that to 1. Okay. Now we can do here. All right, there we go. And now another one here to here. All right, and we can add a little fillet to that one too. Let's here fillet here to here. Perfect. Left, left, space or escape to get out of that. Left, 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 left again, and escape. All right, there we are. So now I'll click finish that guy. Now we want to take this down, and they have it at the very close to the very top of here. So I'm going to measure from the very top of here down to that edge, and I'm getting 5 millimeters. So, and I will do an extrude this guy right here, and we're going to take it down. We're going to do a starting offset. We're going to go with 5 millimeters. Flip it. Flip this guy. There we are. And total depth of that, let's measure this guy again. And we got 2.95. So we want to be under 3 millimeters. But we have to think about this too. We're going to be 3D printing this. So we want to have some chamfers for lead-ins. So let's go with, how about 1.5? I think 1.5 would be good. So put 1.5 here. There we are. So it's solid, add 1.5 with an offset starting distance of 5 millimeters. Okay, there we are. So now we want to have a chamfer going in here. So this is a 1 millimeter area, 1 millimeter decrease in size. So I want to add a chamfer here. Click on that, and I want to choose that 1 millimeter. Now it has chose the 1 millimeter. So now when this is 3D printing, it should do this without any supports. So that should be good. All right, so now we'll work on the stand. All right, so now let's click on this top view right here. Okay, and sketch on this guy right here. Now we're going to build half of the stand, and we're going to do this symmetrically. So we're going to click here, right on there, pull it to the very front. Okay, that's just like our construction mirror line. And I will let's create a line from the back of here. just kind of building this, make sure these are horizontal. L to get in, L to get out of those. And I just want to build this guy here. So the distance here, I want a little bit of clearance, not a whole lot. I do want this to be a little bit tight. I'm going to go here to here, 0.5. Okay, I moved everything in, which is not the best. So we could just simply pull these guys back out. So let's click on them and drag them back out. Escape out of that guy. Click, drag, pull back out. Same thing here. Pulling that guy. Pull this guy. All right. So let's do a dimension from here to here. So lessons learned. You should constrain these a little bit sooner than I did. Okay. And I could probably do an offset of that guy. So let's click on offset here. We want to do 0.5. Actually, we can click on there too. 0.5. We could have actually offset this entire edge right here. There we go. All right, left click to confirm that. Okay, escape. And now if we want to push this to there, we will do an extend. There we go, click left. Okay, now we do a trim, M for trim shortcut. There we are. Actually, we wanted that line. Control Z. I want to build another line, build a line from here to here. Okay, and let's do another line, L, here to here, L to pop out, and then I can do an extend here to here. All right, let's do some M's, some trims, trim, and then I'm gonna trim this guy. Let's get a line from here. There's two lines over there, so that's why I did that. So line to line, line to line. Okay. And I'll pull this guy over here, way past here. And then I'm going to grab this guy, drag him out, not like that. I want to pull this guy inboard, this guy out a little bit. There we go. So this is totally up to you and how far you want this, and if your microscope is heavier, you can adjust this number right here. I think that's pretty good right there. I'm going to add the number right here. So dimension from here to here, here to here. Let's undo that. Control Z. Let's go dimension from here to here. Let's do 4 millimeters. All right, and then I want to dimension. Hit escape. We want to actually pull this number, the line down. We want to do 4 millimeters here. Okay. And yeah, we can adjust this number right here. Let's put a number dimension on here. Let's do 4. And we can do a dimension from here to here. 15, or we can push that, if you want to make it thinner, 20 or so. Okay, so next, I think we're fairly good. We'll fill it on here. $25, and we'll put a little filler here. $10. Okay. Now, if we want to mirror this, we will go with the mirror over here, mirror command, and I will choose select mirror line, which is that line in the middle right here. Entities to mirror. Let's click on these guys. That. There's some redundant things and they're overlapping, but we'll fix that in a second. There it is. Okay. Click on this guy, mirror them. All right, I think that's it. So let's go and undo that mirror. We're going to start trimming some things. Trim this edge. Trim that. Trim this. Trim that. Trim this. Had a phantom line in there. Got rid of that. All right, I think that's about it. Let's put some fillets on here. Make it rounded. We can round this whole thing. Let's do that. Click on fillet. Pull this back. I'm gonna go with like a 2. 1.5. We're gonna go 1.5. Here to here. Left click. Here to here. Left, left. Left. Here to here. Left, 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 left. There we go. Okay. Let's finish this guy. Let's try to do extrusion. See if it will let it. Yep. Looks like it worked. So now we're going to extrude that opposite way. And we'll go down about, let's say 3 millimeters. We're not going to create an add. We're just doing new solid. There we go. It's okay. Green check. All right. If we want to, we can add some color to this. We can left click, right click, and assign appearance. Change that to like green or something. Now we can see the differences in the colors much better. We're going to close off this guy. And we're just going to pull up this surface right here. Actually, we're going to build a sketch on here. Let's click on bottom. Let's create a line from here to here. And then we're going to do a construction. I'm sorry, we're going to do a use right here. We're clicking right there on use. Click on this line, this line, this line, that line, and that line. And then finally, yeah, that's the only ones we need to use. Okay. Left click. Okay. I think it worked. All right. So now I'm going to try and finish this guy. Let's try and do an extrude of this guy. Yep. We had to click on both of those. We're only going to do this, let's say 2 millimeters. Okay. We're going to add it. There we are. We are going to try to get it, view this. We're going to add it the opposite direction. So let's double click on that guy. We're going to flip it. Okay. And now we're good. Okay. Now the only thing we want to do is we want to add a hole to there. So extrude, click on that. Actually, we're going to click on the sketch 2 times. Sketch, we want to add a circle in here. So let's a circle bigger than this hex. Okay. So let's click on that circle right there. This guy right here, and I don't think it actually snapped it to that. So let's undo that. Let's choose circle again. And I want to choose that right there. Okay, that one's better. And I'm just going to put a dimension on this guy. Let's click on that guy, and we're going to do like 8 millimeters. Should be plenty. Say okay. And now we see that blew a hole through there, so we can now connect directly to that top of the screw. All right, so let's put now our knob on the very top here. And so the knob will be on the very top. Let's go sketch, click this guy right here, and we will just build like a polygon here. Click on the center of that guy. All right, and then we're just going to pull this out, adjust it to however you want. I'm going to choose 6-sided. I'm going to get a dimension here. Let's click this guy. Let's do like 20 millimeters. And this one I want horizontal, so let's click there, and I want to escape out of that horizontal here. Click on this guy here, it makes horizontal. Okay, finish that guy. Let's do an extrusion. Extrude this guy. We're going to extrude him, let's say 4 millimeters up. we want to fill it in. We'll eventually add a hex to that. So okay. All right, so now what I want to do is create a sketch on the stop surface right here, and I'm going to create a new shape on there. So let's click on this bottom, and we will create a new shape from here to here. Let's connect this to there. Line here to here, and then here to here. Not there. Control Z. Here, L for line. Here. And then finally here to here. L. Okay, and then M for trim. All right, so now let's put some dimensions on here. Here to here. Nope. Dimension here to here. And we want this. Yep. So let's go 3 here to here. Let's actually go with 4. There we are. All right. So now we can extrude the shape. Let's go with our size. Put a dimension on here for size. So let's say 14. Okay. And you can adjust this, you know, to however you want to. Let's go to extrude. We're going to extrude this guy. We're not going to add it though. We're going to flip it, change it to 4 millimeters, and we're going to go to new. So we want a new piece, okay? So, okay. So now we got our new chunk on there. And we can, let's do the instance right now. So let's go do circular pattern. Okay, we're gonna, part pattern is this one. We want to axis of pattern is straight up and down in the Z. But let's click that. Let's click on this guy right here. Click on this bottom, and we want to see that guy right there. And we want to change this to 6 times. Say okay. We can actually do a add, I think. Yep, merge with this guy. No. All right, never mind that one. We're just gonna do new. All right, now we did all right, there we are. So now we want to, if we want to add a radius or anything to make these smoother and easier, we can just go to our sketch, and we can change this to, let's say, 12, and we can put on some fillets. So let's say 2, change that to 2. And as we do this, it will automatically update all the rest of them. So left click, get out of that, escape, let's hit final. And you see how I added that shape to all of them. So now let's union all of those. So we're going to go over here to Boolean, union. We're going to, oh, I see one problem is this sketch, this extrude is actually merged, and I don't want it to merge. So we're going to undo this guy right here. We're going to actually go to new, say okay. And there we are. So now we can union all of these together. Union here to these. Okay, now it's one piece. All right, if you want to, yeah, we can modify this as you want. So now we want to add a hex to the center of this guy. So let's click on this extrude right here. Let's click on, I think it's sketch. Yeah, sketch 11. We click on sketch 11, and I'm going to go in here and use the, I'm going to use the command use or project. Here we go. Click on that guy. We're going to project these 1, 2, 3. Not this, not the dot. 6. There we go. 6 things. We don't need the dot, but the dot shouldn't hurt us. All right, and now we have our hex put into there. So now we can just build a hex. All right, now we want to extrude a hex into here. So let's go with sketch. We're gonna, in our bottom view here, we're gonna sketch on this face right here. We're going to go to the use command, project. We'll project this 6 times. Say okay. We want to go to extrude, and we want to extrude only that one right there. So we'll flip it, and we want to do new solid. We don't want this to be united or anything like that. And we may need to make this a little bit smaller, or make the other ones a little bigger. All depends on how well your 3D printer is. So that's the first part of the microscope assembly. Like I said, mine was modular. I'll show how to make it modular in a second video. So this shows you, once you spin this clockwise, our screw will spin, and this will go up or down depending on that. It should fit inside of here. We want it to be a little bit tight going into here. So if we need to add a little bit of ledge or something to prevent it from going forward, that might be a good idea, but I'm just going to make it mine tight. So I wanted to be able to have that modularity. So if you have a 3D printer that is 300 millimeters tall that can print, then you could print this entirely out of one piece. Mine, like I said, I have limitations on mine. Since this video ran quite long, I will do part 2, and I will show the modularity and how to build a second screw and make this longer, and then we'll tie these in together, similar to what I did on the first iteration of this. So this guy right here, I will show you how to do that. And yep, so that concludes today's video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Thanks.